Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
Sirens sounded, he seemed astounded, and before long the little boy got surrounded. Sirens sounded, he seemed astounded, and before long the little black boy got surrounded. Pounded by lead, out he bled, hands up, no slack, being black, they shoot. How the lead spoke, his body riddled with holes and bounded smoke. How the defense of blue finds nothing true, these lies defended, his soul grounded. I learned that they extended open season or melanin or anything that lives. Black never matters, extinguishing us like pestilence, like fly squatters, or to be put out like house squatters. We did not ask for this life. We are killed and consumed. There's no winners or sinners. We getting dropped like chicken dinners because bowed heads because of lead. And I know that we must be a blessing instead of these meals of chalk outlines and bullets of blood dressing. And I got to address the light in my child's eyes and tell him that the world is round and truth is flat. People rather gravity help narrative spin than the guilty stand pat. And that chick justice ain't blind but immune to seeing facts. And the only thing that beats this poison, which is love, which counters and acts. And there's no facts, B. No way to go gently into that good night. When bullets don't kill softly, tears might as well be jeers. When police go free, they celebrate and cheers. And protesting we forever be. Police pop their guns, and so goes the story. Black people become black angels moving on into glory. Sirens sounded, he seemed astounded, and before long the little black boy got surrounded. Sirens sounded, he seemed astounded. He got shot, hands up, unarmed. My people, there's no way around it. This is dedicated to my brother. It's called Wonder. Add two eyes of a boy who knows the feeling of being protected, bathed, admonished, shepherded, taught respect by birth order, the amount of tasks and responsibilities given over to the awareness and equal amount of attachment and anchor. Add, wherever he goes, you go, and vice versa. The anger of losing your childhood to a child that you didn't ask for, didn't birth, but your worth as the oldest in your mama's house with no father around made you dad, made you holder of the keys, fried egg and bologna chef, couch change gatherer, store walker for a kindergartner pickup, table gather for crayons coloring, and approval of mom's celebration in colored pictures. It was you who told me it was okay to color outside the lines. It was you who took comic books from Michael, who hoarded Marvel comic books and allowed me to read them and watch my imagination explode. Stir, the master of the Migo men, the master of the Kung Fu chop, master of pliers and bunny ears getting foiled to rap signal that made television come clearer. The What's Happening Bonanza Kung Fu as we watch Don Kirshner's rock concert in the Midnight Special and Star Trek, late on our mother's floor. Fold in. The night did not matter if you were in charge. I learned that safety existed when we shoveled snow and I was attacked and almost mauled, stopped short by your shovel to this dog's head. Teeth retreating into the night just as fast as I was grabbed. Add music and grandparents' basement, listening to Walking into the Sunshine, watching you master moves and me having no rhythm, watching you groove and me having no moves, and you tried to teach me anyway. Patient. My thick bifocal sounding, focus versus the firmament sprinkling in the amazements of watching you practice standing backflips in the backyard, in practice of the diving board, adding more awe of seeing you do high somersaulting dives, twisting and turning into the smallest splash, looking like the divers on the worldwide world of sports. Don't let this boil over. Keep the heat steady. Watch how neighborhood bully beats you and your brother and you can barely breathe. Watch your brother do karate in a fight and all of us in fascination. The array of kicks, the sweet science of pugilism with a speedy excellence, giving equal parts of wow and whoop his ass. Seasoning, love. Giving big part, heart, sacrifice, responsibility, how to give until it hurts, how tears abated the suicide, how work is work and drives the flavor of this dish. He is now in his sixth decade given over to the responsibility, has daughter but only works to secure her safety in this existence. Even though he's overweight, overburdened, and overwhelmed with a mate who does nothing but put more stress on his plate, he doesn't know what peace is, just keeps to her half and minding her biz, the body result of long hours of sitting, supervising, and working, lacking imagination that no one was made to work, eat, and come home to sleep. He is still the funniest person I know. A true comedian, talent shift from athletics to fuck this. Energetics, I need this recipe to remind him that it is never too late to dream. It's never too late to breathe life into those dreams. So I give him my story, my heroic memories of him, the virile action, substantial and strong. How did I do everything looking at his footsteps and realize I couldn't fill his shoes? I had to get my own. He lives vicariously through me, watches my victories and my defeats, and sends his love all the same, with the same protection as if I was three. I need him to be the best he to his him, so does him, so he doesn't die with a song unsung inside him. Let his golden sun rise and purple sunsets kill the regrets, and let beauty dance in his eyes once again. Mind at war. Battles, regret, incidents, mistakes, heartbreaks, war. I think I was four when my mind decided to put me at war. Something I did resulted in my mommy being angry. I saw her hands, tears after this ass whipping, and the memory plagued me. Everything that gave me pause was met with tears and bad memory. Watercoloring fingerprints, phenomena that made dark the greatest days of bright sun rays, depression, regression to hidden fears, because fear is the mind killer. It's serial, mass, murder of good intentions, positive soft talk, and ascension. Let the bully of the person never meant you no good, so more light in you that they couldn't attain. Obsessed with making your face twist, waiting for reply in a high-pitched stutter of lips, willing to inflict pain to make this game continue. The cement, the lamentation, while your mind concretes the miseducation. It's a weight lift. Iron and sharpening iron, ass backwards, but its roots gnarled and not serpentine for stranger things unseen. It is the upside down that clowns you in the back of your mind and attacks you whenever you get close to your happy. The verbal abuse and abuse, and motherfuckers who really meant you no good. You will be friends with these so-called friends, chummy, who crash test you, dummy, blame you for your shame, you for your inequities, because you are toilet papers because they wasn't shit in the first place. But first place, blame on yourself. You accepted the inept, and it takes a full open hit in the bottom when there's no place to go except up. This war requires bullets, not lead, but lead. People who get you up to speed, who speak love and light like ladder, and to help you climb up out the darkness. They offer true friendship, stand with and for you, give you hugs that reach way down deep into your soul, help you pace and build your breath, kick you on your ass and slap you real fast to break the negative illusion to fuck up your delusion. They cuckoo your delulu, and when your mind replays like Hulu, they do something different to make sure that you're safe. Just in case you didn't know, the enemy loves to keep score because the enemy loves your mind at war.
Our nervous systems are divided into the sympathetic and parasympathetic branch. Sympathetic, fight, flight, freeze. Adrenaline, cortisol, parasympathetic, rest, digest, repair. Vagus nerve whispering, you're safe now. The body remembering how to be human again. This system was designed for predators, for saber-toothed tigers, for emergencies that end. It was not designed for 24-hour news cycles or capitalism texting your trauma with read receipts, because the nervous system does not understand context, just threat. And here's where it gets personal. I am an empath, which means my body treats the whole world like it's standing too close to me. Every headline lands in my chest, every injustice tightens my jaw. Before I even open my eyes, I've already activated fight or flight by scrolling to see what fresh hell has been cast upon the world today. I don't need coffee. I step outside and it's like I downed a whole keg of caffeinated crisis heart racing. Like I'm late to fix something I didn't break but will be blamed for. And then there's the personal stuff, the bills, the deadlines, the financial stress that doesn't care how emotionally intelligent I am. The pressure of being Lady K, where my nervous system has to be articulate, palatable, and powerful on command. I'm expected to translate this chaos into something consumable, turn dysregulation into art, turn exhaustion into excellence, turn a nervous system on fire into a standing ovation because when Lady K burns out, it's called a season. When she rests, it's called falling off. My body doesn't know the difference between a war overseas, a microaggression at the grocery store, or an overdraft alert at 2 a.m. Threat is threat. So my sympathetic system stays on duty, muscles clenched. Like peace is something I have to defend. They call it anxiety, but this is a nervous system stuck in survival because the world won't stop shaking it. And here's the diagnosis I'm finally accepting. I cannot heal the world from a body that never feels safe. I cannot keep mistaking constant activation for purpose. So I am learning how to stimulate my vagus nerve with breath, with boundaries, with saying not today to chaos that is not mine. I am choosing parasympathetic, choosing rest without apology, regulation over reaction, because my nervous system is not a public utility. It is not here to absorb everything. And today, I am prescribing myself peace before my body forces me to take it. And this time, I'm actually listening.
Absolute. The perfection of perdition, every impossible number way of wishing you would listen while I christen every new word with the miracle of lung-laced breaths, the best kept beast still howling from inside our hollow chests. I gave you more, you wanted less. A prodigy at prophecy, you summon up the glossy dream, spread it out for devouring, the absence crawling closer, overpowering, the towering tantrums I'm waiting to throw in a gown of old stories I glued together before I learned to sew. Absolute, the boiling point, the echo of a code red called out on every speaker, the mold and dirty deals, and the alcoholic reaper in cahoots with every devil, every minion, every long lost soul cooled over ashen, aching coals. I was secrets told sleeping to pillows and moonlight. You were a destination, and I couldn't afford the flight. Daisy chained to fence post fevers, a milky way of mean faced mentions held there in suspension, high above us all, the writing graffiti honest on every city wall. Absolute. The way your tongue moves rough over new languages, pulled teeth, anger aimed at innocent hearts, a vow you don't intend to keep. I breathe easier when I know the good part's coming soon. My heartbeat slows to melting, my skin gets lost in pale pink bloom, the movie-like quality of this epic new scene, a rocking, rollicked reason to pretend, the way we both stood still and waited for the explosion at the end.
Is this the end of days? Or is this unnerving quiet the eye of the storm? That one moment of weightlessness hanging in the air before gravity reclaims what's hers. I've fallen before, burned as I streaked across a red sky. I know what it is to make a crater, to crawl out broken but breathing still. I know what it is to yearn, to want to live again and walk upright, to seize my second chance. Maybe there's some grief. Maybe I will never be who I once was. Maybe I think the change unfairly violent. My head still rings from the impact, a resonance that feels like it will last a lifetime. I've had to carve out caskets for the parts of me that didn't survive the crash. And it's so hard to show you where it hurts when all the damage is in my head. Not imagined, but starkly real. Thoughts caught in a tangled net of neurons. I've let them hurt me to make me better. When do we first start letting healers make incisions and attach electrodes? I let the bastards turn me off. But am I not better now? Has there not been healing? Perhaps the cataclysm was necessary to begin the metamorphosis, however painful. And hell, I probably needed the humbling. Don't we all need some time in the mud we've made? A reminder this crown comes with a cost and can be taken away. Forgive me if I shake my fists at the sky. We have an understanding. There's not a scar I have he hasn't seen. I find myself at the edge of one life watching another slowly recede. A world that continues without me, where everyone is moving on. I've said my goodbyes, waved to those who were watching, smiled and cried and remembered. I'm tired of grief. Take these shrouds away. I stand ready to resume the climb. Feel the quickened heartbeats as we reach skyward towards home, wherever that may prove to be.
You constantly doubt yourself, placing yourself in this box where corners close in, trapping your spirit in a position not to grow. You do more harm than good. Dimming your light only makes everyone in the room blind to what's inside. Now we're all playing hide and seek with your potential. Instead of maneuvering to something better, you're downshifting up a steep hill only to stall before reaching the top. Stop with this negative talk. But you're relentless on holding on, punishing yourself when you've done nothing wrong, yet you frame yourself the criminal. I wish you had it in you to see what I see. A soul full of endless possibility. You can do anything, yet you restrict greatness like it's your worst enemy. When will you learn? Class has been out of session long ago, but you haven't graduated with the prerequisites to move forward. So you're repeating this step until it sinks in, but your sink is not sinking, constantly missing out on the calling you were meant to answer ages ago. Denying those that follow you the testimony built up inside of you. Shame is not your story. Victory, glory, your message. And once you strongly cling on to that, you'll see the reasons for everything being against you is only to make you strong. That is your legacy. Choose to share it. Relish in it, knowing that there is a reason your existence has purpose. You are important. And no matter what page you're on, this is the chapter where the main character opens their eyes and accept that despite the opposing perspective, they will always be in possession of greatness.
Last time I saw my mother, she was wearing a mask of invisibility, superpower. She's still looking for the mask to reappear normal. She used her superhero persona doing good deeds for strangers. In between her manufactured lies, she wants to go to heaven when she dies. The last time I saw my mother, she lost it. She still has the wig on, flat in the back from her frequent naps, punctuated by requests she no longer wants to hear. If she closes her eyes, she can make you disappear. The mask used to keep her sane, and now she's unable to find it, surprising herself multiple times a day when someone explains her current maskless situation. At sundown, my mother has incurable dementia and failure to thrive. Pills keeping her alive, and her elderly husband, who's frequently in hospital, retired his mind. Body no longer cooperates. She's still a hero in her own mind, thinking she is still his caregiver. When she struggles to recall why she took out the brownie mix again, repeated trips to the pantry as the boxes pile up on the counter. We recently got in some help to reintroduce her to herself. Her husband needing more care than she can provide. The marriage suffers as they frantically try to survive, searching for themselves, wearing personas visible only to themselves that allow them to be whoever they imagine to be, possessing the ability to dance again. And wearing the mask that allows them to remember when they were happy.
My pen said, the voices in his head got voices in his head. And my pen only likes me because I repeat some of the things the voices said. It writes in red and blue and black. In fact, my pen isn't diplomatic. It's schizophrenic. It's so damaged it wrote love poems to itself like it's romantic. Sometimes I can't stand it. I'm not special. I'm just a vessel. It writes when I'm not looking. It writes on my apron when I'm cooking. It wrote when I was tattooing in my hotel room in Brooklyn. I just take it and what it writes and keep on pushing. I tried to get it therapy. But you know, it embarrassed me. The therapist said my pen is fine. It's just your mind. I said my mind is fine, but what you think is wrong with mine? Well, if you don't mind, you probably need some medication or mediation or meditation, and that way, I believe some of the symptoms will be alleviated. I said, no, my pen needs some pills, like my pen needs to chill. Like, my pen be in his feels. He said none of those things are real. How often do you hear people talking? Does it happen when other people are around, or when you're just alone in your own apartment or at your office? What about when the lights is on or in the darkness? When are your thoughts the darkest? See? I say, yeah, it's not like it's not demons like I'm the legion of my region, just people I still believe in and believe they still need to get even. And even if even doesn't get even, it's still enough reason for my pen to keep speaking. It's simple. I'm not mental. I'm a schizo with my pen and pencil. He said you was hearing the voices made your pen take the blame. I know it's different personalities, but you started to give them names. Ashamed I told him I did. He said, well, how long? I said, I think since I was a kid, but I didn't think it was nothing big, but I guess it is. He said, well, let's play this game. Tell me some of their names. I said, well, there's George and Walter and Brianna, Ahmad, Trayvon, Sonia, Sandra, Philando, Renee, and Andrew, Eric, Tamir, Malcolm, and Martin, Amadou, Nat, Fred Hampton, just to name a few. Imagine all these voices inside of you. It's like Shakespeare when he was writing The Taming of the Shrew, all these names and faces stuck in my head of people I never knew. So what I'm going to do? They wasn't invited. Doc, what I'm going to do? Tell them to be quiet. And if I'm being honest, I kind of like it. He said, yeah, that's a lot of names. I said, yeah, that's in a lot of pain. So he said, well, what they saying? The same thing we all been saying. Well, what's that? Say the name.
I try not to blame my sadness on the rain. What's the point of owning our pain? Mood is affected by what I've endured, my wrinkles, my wounds, all I've gone through. Gone, too, is the strain, the misguided and vain desire to be anywhere near you. I shall now entomb you softly in sand, roll up your black magic in the carpet of land. I will miss your mummy white fingers. I used to adore their lingering touch, the way they covered my mouth. I bit them off and spit them out. Embossed glossy scarabs to frighten me now, still a snap to make me cry. Nice try. You may resist my gladness as a human who has consumed victuals of our tears, our constant fears, familiar as the map of lines on my face. I often trace the smile of a scar on my belly. I know better than you what I'm worth. Now all that's left to sip is the drip of rain that falls on those who still shuffle in their rooms. with cottony mouths locked in opulent tombs, their lips softly murmur, fingers reaching for braille. I absorb their pain through my heels on the ground, and it soaks into the earth. This drumming of rain in my head that seeps into my heart and waters down the hurt. Weak cocktails of our hearts and livers, composting flesh about the alabaster bones. On second thought, I shouldn't blame you, nor your love for whipping me silly. I've seen your soul saunter just behind you, sneaking up on me in dark alleys, spiking my drinks, my fears. Your own tomb runneth over with gluttonous pride, obese and sloppy now that you've died. Acrid vapor forming droplets anew, baptizing my burns, gentle as the turning of youth. And to not incite some retribution, I'll happily leave you be. I've decided it best you forget about me. I'll hide in my vehicle, my vacuum, my womb, safe from you and your imminent doom. Like a high horse above, I'm a weather vane. I've learned to lend my face to the rain. And I know my secret places, for they gallop freely in me. Alas, the past has collared my fair steed, so I buried him as well alongside our precious memories. And your next fat horse, swallowing my skeleton key, was not a funny joke. You'll choke, and my fire will corrode the metal bone in your throat. Scalding acid rain drizzled on our love Sunday in vain. I've had to earn my hard, flat freedom, and you'll not eat me again. Ariel's all rise twice, you know. If not 9 lives, then dabble in 3. Virginia, Sylvia, and finally me. My body with worms and nothing left to flee. Tarped against the wet, wet rain.
If I had to make these current events digestible, I wouldn't sugarcoat it. I'd make sure to omit any kind of fructose syrup propaganda that prevents you from having guts. I don't care how bad your stomach bubbles with something that doesn't sit right. Won't substitute the bitter truth for candy-coated lies. I won't tell you the government is trying its best, but things are just too complicated. I will tell you the President of the United States and his appointed cronies are starving the poor population for political gain. Make you swallow it like a spoonful of sand or a choke sandwich. A throat full of nails. I will refuse my tongue the will to say anything artificially sweetened by Florida's change of history. We don't all have dementia, just the government and the president. I won't speak about the illegal aliens invading our safe spaces. I will only speak of America dressing white supremacy into mass federal agents to terrorize anything darker than bland white chicken or just add water potatoes. I will not season this history with sofrito, sazon, or any ingredient outside of boiled hot dogs and overcooked hamburgers. I don't care how much your intestines beg your stomach to close your throat. How American pie tastes exactly like Nazi Germany, like expired milk and apple cider vinegar. Any way you mix it, it will always be putrid, rancid, rotten meat, and mold crawling on cheese. A fermented American dream trying to be Jim Jones Kool-Aid, to which I won't add sugar, spice, or anything nice. If I can't say they are killing children every day, I will say they love them. They love them so much. They want to marry them earlier, want them to bear children earlier, to serve the military and work earlier. They want childhood to be gentrified into a capitalistic state of pedophilia, and like any other hood, they want first dibs. When they say fuck them kids, they mean it. And I know this can all be hard to swallow without the propaganda, without something to whitewash it down. But I won't sugarcoat it. I want you to stomach the truth exactly the way it is.
They call it a waterfall, but that word feels dishonest. It doesn't leap, sparkle, or perform joy for passing cameras. It bleeds deep in Antarctica, where the world pretends nothing survives. There is a red confession slipping out of the Taylor Glacier, like a truth that got tired of waiting. Blood falls, not actual blood, iron rich, hypersaline, ancient water trapped under ice for millions of years, held hostage by pressure, by weight, by the lie that silence equals stability. That water learned patience the way Black women do, learned how to survive without movement, how to stay liquid in places designed to freeze us solid because salt does that. Salt keeps things from hardening, salt preserves memory, and Black women, we are seasoned beneath that ice, beneath that salt. Life still exists. They call it extremophile. Organisms built to endure what should end them, thriving in toxic salinity, in crushing cold, in airless dark. Science says they shouldn't be here, yet here they are. Black women have always been biological rebuttals to hostile environments. The original genome, not borrowed, diluted, or engineered for comfort. We didn't just survive extremes, we evolved inside them. Still, we've been buried under glaciers of expectation, be twice as good, half as loud, never angry, always grateful, strong enough to carry everything, but soft enough not to scare anyone. We learned unnecessary silence like it was etiquette, learned how to make ourselves smaller so the room could stay comfortable, learned to oxidize quietly, adjusting tone, posture, and truth so we could assimilate without alarming the temperature. Because the world doesn't punish Black women for being wrong, it punishes us for being visible. But here's the thing about blood falls. When that ancient water finally reaches air, the iron reacts. Science calls it oxidation. I call it what happens when a Black woman tells the truth out loud. When silence meets oxygen, when pain finally breathes, when what was hidden refuses to stay clear, it turns red, not because it's angry, but because it's honest, and the landscape panics, cause it dramatic, disruptive, cause it too much, but the waterfall doesn't stop, it flows in temperatures that should shut it down, in conditions that should erase it, in a place that never made room for it, because even ice understands this law. Pressure eventually creates passage. So when you see a Black woman's voice stain the snow of politeness, interrupt the white space of expectation, bleed through the glacier of be patient, and now is not the time, understand. It's not aggression, that's preservation, finally escaping. That's not bitterness, that's memory. Iron rich and intact, that's blood fall saying, I did not survive all this time to remain invisible. I was never frozen, I was becoming.
Rustling in the dustbin, I've been searching for the wind, for a song that has never been sung, that I don't even know how to begin. I've been rustling in the wind. I've been standing by the sea. I've been looking for a lighthouse that's been looking out for me. I'm a monster in my mind. I'm a leviathan of the depths. Someday when you find me down there with all the secrets that I've kept, you'll know it wasn't my fault. All those Siren 6 sailors and their shipwrecks, all the hemispheres that got left hexed by water gods and sky gods and sun gods and whatever gods come next. Steering by the stars again, as clouds part their misted dreaming, a hero's only welcome comes ages from the leaving. Currents jet stream, our passages uneven, where time waits for no heathen, and doldrums idle hands like a demon dreaming of thieving, a mutiny not of money, a trick not of treason. The deck swabbing dangers of salt rubbed into skin, the anchor no match for the swells that sneak in. We fish for the rains, set sail, and learn to swim. I carry you around my neck, albatross soft, like ashes protecting the dead's need to fly off. I've seen the edge of the world dropped off into Bermudian triangles shrouded in hopes heavier than cloth, remembrance a ritual, forgiveness the balm, torture the tempest till the teacups grow calm. Turning in the tidal total ride inside the tunneled yodel of seashell spiral sins I go to riptide ripe to steal what she sells by a seashore left unfathomed, kidnapped in kelp forests unransomed in a holy dervish dying sandstorm. Curb the call of the hellbet yet handsome and teeth in a mouth with no way to chant or hum the seeds of these words and hands ready to plant some. Don't pretend to build me a boat for this water. My arms are their own kind of oars, my soul too full of treasure to float. Buried down like a firstborn daughter, buried down where the driest dust learns to drown. Bullying wind, shape-shifting these oceans. I'm beaconing better now, a pulse to be found.
I never considered my father a villain. I know how hard he has to work to prove a worth his heart does not believe. His doubt in himself is monstrous. His thirst for respect unquenchable. His need to be revered, desperate. Under that intense gaze, deep in the very core of him, his fear of judgment festers. Sometimes it burns out of control. He used to tell me tales of my ascension, how I would rise above him someday, live out his dreams because he couldn't, because the world wasn't fair, because they wouldn't let him. Then he left. He set me free that day. Best thing he ever did for me. I sent him letters for years, bleeding on pages, desperate to reach him. His responses were empty. Always news, but never acknowledgement when they came at all. With some folks, there is no reconciliation, no resolution, no peace. I can feel every mile away from my son at school. Sometimes it makes me cry seeing him smile because he knows I love him. The man who was my father is still out there somewhere, walking around. But I have said my piece in my carefully chosen words, and I don't need him to receive them, or me. I didn't ask for freedom, would have preferred love, but here I am, no longer son.
It's not safe anymore. Not to smile or be neighborly. It's a dangerous time to be a tenacious tongue. A dangerous time to be the truth. Facts are being bludgeoned to death. Words afraid to leave the house. Opinions trapped in a closet. How do we raise a future like this? Last week, a Snapple fact was wandering the streets of the internet looking for a way out these closed mouths. The fact checkers were relentless. They stripped him of his credibility, beat the berries out his brain, forced him into an alternative lifestyle. No one recognized him anymore. And that was just a Snapple fact, not a classified document, a constitution. The alphabets hide in silence. It is not safe for them anymore. Not to smile or be neighborly. It is a dangerous time to be a tenacious tongue. Snapple fact number 60. The tongue is the fastest healing part of a human body. Snapple fact number 132. A crocodile cannot move its tongue.
Some fellows love a gal, a good old-fashioned gal. A pitter-patter, nice to meet you, pin-up doll, pin down, plastic-eyed, baby bitch, ass wipe, butt kiss, mother-in-law type of shulik. You like 'em like that, Ted. You like 'em to be good, to listen and mind, to write poems but not go out of their minds. Too bad you missed the boat on that one, honey. We fight like dogs for the shameful things. I don't bend over when it wraps around me. I don't eat hungry with mouth full of ball bearings. I don't give pounds to men who belittle at the sisters, at the compound with the asinine people. I fit. I fucking flip. Don't you know this is the way fellas deserve it? Fellas who like to wrap it round like a scarf, like a donut, like a garland rose tongue. This is what fellas love. Tongue, tongue, tongue. But I eat it down, down, down. You think I'm angry now? You think I'll murder the children? Do you think it's more fun with her? Is she more thin than me, thinnest of them all, thinnest than all of the other women, giving fellas what they love, their tongue?
My mother's tongue was militant and the king's English, relentlessly getting corrected on my pronunciation. Was not allowed to say ain't and not allowed to cuss. Soap in mouth bubbled up, the memories of never given permission to respond the way I wanted. My father's tongue was clicking, of unbridled belt split out from loops, belted in my feet as I ran for cover from the beatings I received. Threatened to call DCPMP, but was dared to, as if they knew I would not survive. Over stones carved with illegible writing, realized as a child my tongue suffered the same fate. I wasted my life trying to speak myself into existence, and now I suffer from an eternal identity.
In English, we say, I love you. In the drip, we say, you stir something deep within that's sacred and sinful. As my body remembers you before my mouth does. You feel like a slow burn I never rush, and I want to drip wherever you dwell. Not out of hunger, but devotion. The kind that starts in the hips and finishes deep within my folds. The kind making patience feel erotic and turns waiting into foreplay. This isn't lust running wild. This is restraint, learning how to kneel, desire with discipline, hands knowing when to hold and when to wait, knowing the difference between taking and being invited. And I invite you to touch me like love still matters, like intimacy isn't disposable and bodies aren't just places to visit, but homes you remove your shoes for. Where skin listens, breathes soft, and chooses where to linger. It's the closeness that doesn't rush to climax because the nearness is already enough. In a world teaching us to skim, skin, and flee, you linger, listen, letting connection thicken, tension stretch slow until even silence feels undressed. And that alone feels revolutionary. In English, we say, I love you, but in the drip, we say loving you doesn't feel reckless. It feels deliberate, like choosing one flame and standing close enough to feel its warmth without burning oneself. So if love is under attack, let it be the defense, where two people decide closeness is still holy as our bodies become a slow agreement, not needing permission to linger. No rush needed. Because even the space between us knows better than to break the spell. This kind of intimacy stays charged without moving. It lives in the pulse of a shared breath, in the way our bodies listen before they even speak. Where wanting doesn't perform, it simmers, settling into the quiet. Yes, my body gives when its satisfaction stops needing language.
We made love like rebellion. Art hung too low from museums, still warm from the hands that shaped it. The world told us not to touch this deeply, so we laughed, undressed anyway, left our good intentions folded on the floor. Your body teaches mine a language that doesn't ask permission. Grammar written in skin. Punctuation pressed slow and deliberate, sentences breaking open the moment we close the distance. Nothing polite about the way we fit. Nothing accidental. Hips and hearts conspiring, eyes locked like we're daring heaven to look a look away a little longer. You don't move like temptation. You command it. Every inch of you feels intentional, like you know exactly how much I can take before my control starts begging. You look at me the way fire looks at oxygen, not impressed, just ready. There's something obscene about how holy this feels. How our breathing turns feral, how restraint melts off me the second you pull me closer. I don't touch you carefully, I touch you like I'm claiming something that already chose me back, like devotion finally took its clothes off. You taste like confession. Like something I wasn't supposed to say out loud but did anyway. My name sounds dangerous the way you pull it from your mouth, stretching it, bending it, making it yours. I answer with my hands, with the kind of touch that doesn't ask, only promises to stay. We sweat in truth. We grind in tension. The room forgets why it exists once we decide to use it for us. Sheets twist into witnesses. Time loses its posture. Everything becomes now. Your body telling me where to remain. Mine proving I understand without needing instruction. This love is filthy with devotion. Pretty in a way, bruised fruit still tastes sweet. We don't collide to escape the world. We remake it in the image of us and afterward. Tangled, breathing uneven, still humming from how thoroughly we consumed each other. I don't pull away, I stay, because this isn't just bodies answering hunger. This is passion with its hands dirty. This is desire that refuses apology. This is proof we've never meant to be careful.
I saw an 80-something-year-old black man at CVS, seeming stressed. I heard from the next aisle him talking at the checkout, and I thought it was something I needed to check out. Maybe he was short on money and needed something to eat, but he was only demanding his receipt. And the printer had ran out of paper and ink, and the cashier told him, "Well, if you paid with your card, you can come back and get it later." He was frantic, borderline in a panic, and I understand it. Why so demanding for a receipt? I mean, he was dressed so neat, fancy scarf, driver's cap, and matching jacket made in tweed, and simple and sensible brown shoes on his feet. He was buying some Fruity Pebbles cough syrup and that tea, the one that helps you sleep. And I started to think, is it for tax purposes? Is that why all the nervousness? I'm trying to watch the game and it's halftime, so I don't have time. If he just want them long ass coupons, he can have mine. I say, I got some extra coupons if you really need them. He said, nah, son. I recognize this is the same America from when I was a kid, and a black man don't walk out no store without a receipt, or else it'll cost him his life or his freedom. These items are for my grandson, so I need them, but if I have to, I'll leave them, and I believe them. Even the cashier understood it. She was a younger white girl. I said, "All right, girl, I'm gonna pay for his items, and you don't have to give me a receipt. And you, sir, you can wait in the car, and I'll put your groceries on your back seat or the front or the trunk or wherever you want. Just don't worry. I'm gonna take care of it." He says, "Thank you, son," with his brown and blue eyes darting around from embarrassment. And he thanks me again and mumbling, "I always keep my receipts. I always keep my receipts." And he looks me in the eye while taking off his scarf and exposes his gnarly scar to me. It wasn't hard to see the permanent burns from rope around his throat. And he continues to say to me, I always keep my receipts, and you should too. And it felt like deja vu, like he was reminding me of something I already knew, but thought I outgrew. He ain't forget what it cost his ancestors of being robbed of his childhood innocence by his transgressors. He ain't forget drinking from color-only water fountains and redlining that led to public house and police arresting you when you was just browsing. He got his receipts. How his mother was Sue and his father was Gullah Geechee. And he was trying to teach me, and stupid me, I'm trying to teach him about DoorDash and Uber Eats. See, it registered to the cashier. She was inspired and started to move mountains. The replacement paper, she went to the manager's office and found it. Even though they don't allow it, she said, well, who's counting? I think we all should have our receipts. Now, again, I started to think, how many times I acted like I ain't need my receipt? Like I ain't 911 phone call from a Karen staring at a black man in a nice car with R&B music blaring, or headed to my home and somehow that's official police business interfering. Like I ain't always been one purchase of a Snapple away from handcuffs and shackles, being tackled, hassled, and grappled, or knee or rope around my Adam's apple. Is it just me? I mean, be brown or black, liberal, gay, a woman or teen, do you have your receipt for buying into the American dream? I doubt it. Because ain't no refunds or changes. Oops, I mean exchanges without it. And you gonna need your receipt.
Sirens wail for you amongst the Minnesota diamond sparkled skies. Doves sail for you as emancipation gyrates on pearl-colored pages. Your guitar rips stages, causing quakes, shaking tectonic plates with audio vibration. Your 5'2" frame of stiletto hills makes us feel inferior as your music reigns superior. As your fingers pluck heartstrings, you make torsos move, hands waves, and spirit rise before you hum the first note and let go. You are the rock and roll Geppetto. A Jimi Hendrix reincarnation with a Miles Davis type of swag, a freaky birth child of a sex orgy of R&B, metal, hip-hop, and jazz. You crawled out the womb, demanding us to kiss you in little red Corvettes under cherried moons as raspberry berets top the minds you control. You caused Apollonia to C6 with vanity and strip under your control. You gave Terry Lewis and Jimmy the jams to help Janet strip Joe's control with red velvet ropes and become Miss Jackson if we were nasty. You passed these words of advice to Kevin Tamble, so he stopped singing under graffiti bridges, showed Sheila E. that she could too crush grooves and live the glamorous life of heaven, found the numeric digits so Morris Day could call for the time, 7779311. Jerome walked like a bird while holding a mirror so the world could reflect on your talents. We praise his 7 musicology that adore and ballads, but warn this sexy motherfucking starfish coffee drink is the controversy of pussy control if you party like it was 1999. Prince, you made assless chap sexy. Known to drive many women loco, even my mother. Use your voice as lightning, your guitar as thunder. Prince, you put eclectic creativity in a chokehold until it regurgitated gold, platinum, and diamond plaques. Scribbled slave on your face while strapping strength and pride on your back. As you ousted the WB before the industry could scorn another, we will forever show gratitude the way you warned a brother. Your mother Maddie will be proud of the king you became with a title that no longer holds the weight of your workload. So you added an artist formerly known as with a symbol along with your name. A monarch without a crown or a castle to claim. Your music is a kaleidoscope that allows a purple to reign. Rest in peace, Prince.
I've never fancied myself to be a man of religion, but I'll make an exception when we are discussing love. Unlike any religion out there, I've found proof of a deity in the mist. In my lifetime, I have never found God, but God damn it, I have found Goddess. Goddess takes human form so divinely, possessing light and dark so gracefully, perfect in her imperfection so truthfully. Goddess is a walking, breathing temple, creating sacred ground wherever she walks, for she is sacred herself. Her existence is proof that anything is possible. I aim to treat Goddess with the utmost respect and reverence she deserves. Consented by the grace of Goddess, I would ensure my entrance to be a holy experience. with kisses that part lips like doors opening a pathway to a whole new world. I wish to sing into your mouth the most enchanting melody my spirit could muster. One good thing about music is that when it hits you, you feel no pain. So please, hit me with music. Sock it to me. Good. Let me feel it. Strike a chord in my heartstrings so inconceivable that it becomes immaculate. And watch me reciprocate with the beat that will move your feet. Let's groove and find the grooves that fit together. Let's make this work. Let's create melodies of intimacy together that shall play beautifully within the walls of your temple. Let our melodies be prayers to love. Let our melodies give us something to believe in. Let our melodies be holy testimony. Let's write scripture with our fingertips and tongues. May our love be biblical.
I will save myself in 10 parts. I thought that I would miss you. Then I realized there was nothing to miss. Emotional confusion, lack of combustive passion. You only made love when you needed something. I was not what you wanted. I'm clear. What else can you tell a woman who spends her time pining for a father that will never be one? What else can you tell a woman who loves only that which hates her, uses her, despises her, yet her heart, like a 24-hour convenience store, stays open no matter how many robberies take place? I wondered what it was that made me love someone who was so broken, so hurt, who loved to hate, who loved surreptitiously, but stating that I was all that you wanted. No one can complain if you nurse an asp back to health and it bites you, its fangs ceremoniously pumping venom into your veins and says, you knew I was an asp. What did you expect? Cycles, Zoloft, and bad decisions, and sex is all we were. Realized that you were poison ivy, flu, a 17-year bug that had me expelling all that I had from inside, from both ends, gangrene from a wound I refused to treat. I played the world's smallest violin and telling all how much I was worth, and I realized that I did it to my goddamn self. 2, I was addicted to you. But, like drugs, crack would have had a better high, cocaine a better dope, weed a better smoke, heroin a better poke, and it would have been a better way to let my heart die. 3, I decided that my best friend was stupidity, who fucked my emotions with no condom but had pregnant expectations of a good relationship, yet what was born was developmentally delayed birth that could not breathe without life support, and soon she pulled the plug. 4, deception is an act of fooling someone for your benefit, to conceal your real intentions for your benefit. But how do you fool yourself? 5, I gave you credit. I caped. No S on my chest. I tried to save this, you, me, and realized that kryptonite is a woman wet who carries love like a knife and slits your throat soon after orgasm. 6, you say I dwell in the past. Then I am H.G. Wells. These photos are my time machine, and I cannot remember a time when love flowed like wine on a spring day. 7, when loving a liar, remember, they can look you in your eyes and say that you are my one and only, and in that same breath tell you why you were inadequate, spill syrupy sweet into the ear of another, and tell you with a straight face, I've never, I wouldn't, we are just friends, that's my cousin. We didn't get that far. See, what happened was, I was thinking of you the whole time. Forgive me. 8, how can you love someone who will only love you if you hate them? 9, you will measure your days by the lack of crazy in it. You will lay with someone who loves you completely, and you will wake up in a cold sweat waiting for the bomb to go off. 10, I've decided that I've worn your stench long enough. I am cleansing my body of the scratches from my back, removing the bites that bled me of my self-esteem, bandaging my arms from holding you whenever you were, beating my heart, my hands from holding your hands as the razors cut me slow and stole the strength of me from the eyes of my children. My legs that were tired, worn, beaten, walking, running to and from you, and the belief that you would change. I will no longer write poems, mourn, bleed. I have nothing else to give to you or your drama, the madness, the sorrow, the lies, the struggle. I'm just done. I will save myself. You are violent. The silent way you can convince me to abandon regard like hell. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. The twin spears that rotate around the wet sensate that can placate any man. Sin that none can withstand. It's illegal how you kegel squeeze, titillate, and tease. And your ride is a ride that doesn't stop. Addictive, but it makes me want to cop. But I don't see you on the street corner selling crack. But this is where it's at, and I can hear you calling. The heat, the moisture most sure, killing me pure as I am high on your thigh. You rock me to sleep, and watch how my secrets have joined yours in the ecstasy that seeps. You play for keep, stealing soul with hips and tilt and body roll. And then you say to me, do you love that, Zaddy? This is all yours, Daddy. The way that you clap your cheeks upon my cheek peak raises my nature and precipitates passion. Wetness notwithstanding, I howl. And I would call you anything and everything, whatever it is, as long as you fill this cup of desire and douse the fire in my loins as we join to let the stickiness of your honey drip slip until we melt into the darkness. You remember being encompassed, held, legs hanging over arms, taut, veins providing strength, steady, pistons driving deep, drilling deep while holding you still to feel each motion. Hands clawing back, pressure upon attack, the exchange of ecstasy acted out on faces and tastes of electrolyte, a perfume as I consume your bloom, the wet petals and the twisted metal disguised as flesh, into mesh.